I was on immunosuppression because I had my kidney transplant at age 13. So, and I only had one kidney because they had removed both of them. So some of my doctors didn't want me to be pregnant. Some of them said it was okay. I was most concerned about being on the immunosuppression, passing, the medications down to my baby. So we chose to have a surrogate carry the girls. So we went through IVF. She got pregnant with twins. And when she went into delivery, she decided to have general anesthesia. So not my body. So that was difficult. Her doctor told me, no big deal. The second one out will just be a little groggy. So that happened to be Tula. She was groggy. She was having a little bit of difficulty breathing. So the doctors wanted to put her on a round of preventative antibiotics. I believe it was the first couple days of her life.
I want to just interject here, Holly, that in the baby boomer generation, that's how babies are born. Yeah. Their mothers they didn't want to feel any pain, modern mothers, and so they were put to sleep. Right. So a lot of babies, I'm sure I was one of them, were born, and when for a couple of weeks, they're really groggy. Mm-hmm. They, today's baby, my kids were born naturally, so they were immediately present, looking around, they were amazingly different. Yeah. But that's not done very much today, so that's definitely a strike against a newborn. Exactly. And why did they put her on the antibiotic, though?
It was preventative, just in case she got a lung infection. She was fine. But, I had grown up in and out of hospitals and clinics my whole life. I'd always just listen to doctors. I never questioned. So she was on antibiotics. Brought the girls home, and the surrogate was kind enough to pump some breast milk for us. So the feedings, though, did not go well with Tula. She would kick and scream, and I'd have to massage her to get any milk down. She was diagnosed with reflux by her pediatrician, was put on medication, told us to switch to formula. We tried. I know. We tried.
That's so common today. I'm constantly talking to new moms who they didn't maybe produce enough milk, they thought, and that's the first thing the doctor says to do, or they try it themselves. They go on a formula, and there's not really a good formula out there. So,
right. So we were switching formulas, and finally came. We found one that helped her a little bit, but I was not used to looking at nutrition labels back then. And the first ingredient was sugar. So she was on that formula for a long time. So born C-section, did not get the beneficial bacteria, was on antibiotics actually many times, because that first year her sister would get a cold and she would get pneumonia. And she had all these rounds of antibiotics for ear infections. I don't even know if they prescribe antibiotics for ear infections anymore, but it was about 3 times her first year. And no breast milk. So, there are 3 strikes right there.
Can I again interject a little bit of interesting information? Because, we know more and more about the microbiome and how it's formed at birth and all. The first 3 months, the digestive tract in a newborn simply isn't working. It's even difficult for the newborn baby to digest their mother's own milk. And there's very little protein in milk. They've just got the whole formula thing completely wrong. But anyway, it's not unusual for the first 3 months for babies to spit up and have quote unquote reflux. But mothers don't know that. The doctors don't either, I guess. And so they think, oh, he's spitting up and, so he's not digesting my milk. But that inner ecosystem is trying to get established. And when it is in 3 months, things start going much smoother. So